a few days has passed since I got the headlight in. The damage around there is simply intolerable. So I ordered a new one. I'm not getting an LED because it's too much faffing about getting the right size and everything. The new one will be fine on one of these, so I ordered one. It had to come from Japan, but it didn't actually come from Japan, it came from Europe. Kawasaki Europe, and it arrived within a couple of days, and it's here. Comes as a complete unit almost. I need to swap the bulbs over. Pop that back in. And then all we're waiting for is the bars to be swapped over. Then it's ready, it'll be on the road. Can't wait. I've just been doing nothing, not being able to go out on bike. Yes, the weather is a bit crap and it is a bit rainy, but so what? I'm not going to go out on the ice for sure. There's any frost on cars, not a chance. But there has been some nice days that I've missed out on. Yes, we are in December now, fast approaching Christmas. It's almost Christmas, probably. I'm not sure when this will be out, but it'll either be just after or just before. But there's some nice days. Yeah, it's cold, but there are days where it's not frosty and it's bright sunshine. And I want to go out places and I want to film some stuff and go adventuring on it. I want to get more experience riding the bike. I want to be confident on it again. I'm sure I'm going to be very wary of it when I first get back on. But I guess that's the nature of having a crash. So, as my mate said, I'm a proper biker now because I've come off, survived. So I'll get this one out and I'll have a look at these bits that swap over and we'll see how that goes. I'll see you in a minute. Voila, out. 2 clips, 2 bolts, pop it down and it's out. So I need to swap all this bit over and this bit, I don't know how that comes out, but I'm going to have to figure that out. That'll peel back, so I'll be able to see how that's fixed. The headlight rim is new, so I need to swap that over. I think that was 37 quid that. Get that onto the new one. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, there's a clip underneath there. That thing there. Just have to get that out and then we're away. Alright, I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so I've got this off. The sides screw into there, which is that little white block which does come out, and there's one at that side. Now if you look there, that one doesn't have a catchment like the back of these, and this is the spring loaded one. So when you are doing it, hold on to your spring loaded stuff or it'll be out of here and you'll not find stuff that small. So I'll get this set up and get this on the new headlamp. Now I'll just stop and show you that. That's the front screw and that's the spring loaded part there. And this is the bit that it screws into that lump of plastic, so I didn't want that pinging off. But I've not tightened it up, it's loose, but not loose enough that I'm going to thread that, strip the thread, because I need to get these all lined up. If you look at that side, it's not quite lined up. So I'll put those in loose, and that one loose, just so that I've got room to move and fiddle around with it and get it right. So don't really tighten stuff up until you know it's right. Falling out, you see, not paying attention. Both rescued, but you can see how tiny they are. I don't claim to be a mechanic. I'm only learning this as I'm going along. And I hope you'll learn something from it as well, maybe. Maybe I'm much of a mechanic, I'm not. Right, let's get this put back together. So we're back together. Just going to wire it up before I screw it in case I've damaged any of them bulbs. Hopefully I haven't. Looking good. Okay, wasn't cheap. We'll go into that when I've just put this on. Well, I might as well tell you now. right here. That was £116.89p. So when we're finished, we'll get that on the board. It'll probably be up when you're looking at it, because I'll switch off and write it on. I'll just switch this off while I do this, because it's a pain in the bum and it'll take me ages. Okay, so headlights on, new one, old one. Well, I'll put it on the scrap pile, but this will be off in the bin. I'll just show you the damage of it again. All that edge there. And I don't know if you can see that on camera. All the glass is gouged out as well, so it needed a new one. I'm happy with that, looks fabulous now it's new. I'll set the headlight up when we get the bike running, because obviously I don't want to be dazzling driving, I don't want to be pointing skyward, I don't want it to be pointing directly at the ground, I need to see the road. It's winter, so I'll be able to do that quite early in the day. And that'll be when the bars are swapped over. And that's the next job, just got to wait for my pal to come up. It's a few days for me, a few minutes for you. I'll go up, add the price of them headlamp glass up there. A few days have passed from this point on. My friend's come over, that's his gloved hands there. He's drilling holes into the bars, because where the throttle goes, it has like little nubbins or nipples that clamp onto the bars. You don't just rely on the clamp. So he's putting tiny little pilot holes in, which will drill out, and then he'll take the burrs off. Now we've got these bars on perfectly well, no problem. However, neither of us really like them. The original bars were bright chrome. They looked absolutely fantastic. But these ones just don't suit the bike. However, they are on the bike and they'll be staying there for the moment, so at least I can ride it, and I've ordered a new set. They should be on the way shortly. The bars were on. Once the bars were on, it was time to attach all the switchgear. As you can see, he's getting all that lined up, making sure it fits properly, making sure there's enough space at the throttle end there. The cap needs coming off, because I've got some bar ends to go in there, and he's making sure that that's got its own spring and return when you let go. And we were just messing about cafe racing it there. So at this point here, he's turning the handlebars both ways to make sure that there's enough length on that throttle cable without it snagging on anything, and just again making sure that the throttle doesn't catch and it returns quite happily. And there the clutch cable is now, where the clutch is now going on. And he'll do the same again. He'll move the bars around, make sure there's plenty of room, make sure it's not tight, and just make sure it's fitting correctly. This is now the fitting of the heated grips. We're looking down there, realise that side doesn't have enough room for all the cabling. Even though it's only one cable, it can take up a fair bit of space when space is at a premium. So he's run it up the side of the bike. I had to take the tank off for that, so that it goes underneath the tank, and then he feeds it through towards the headlamp, and all the connections go in the headlamp ball, because when they're left outside the bike they will get wet. Space is at a premium under the tank, and the cable was more than long enough to reach the headlamp ball of where he could attach the heated grips to. And then that was done, and the bike was finished. Bike's done, back on the road. Only took 3 months, took a fair bit of money. It could have been sooner if I'd got my arse in gear and done things right the first time. I've learned some valuable lessons during this, mainly not to crash the bike. Secondly, don't skimp on parts, just buy the right stuff for your bike. I had ideas of changing handlebars and things like that. I did get the lower handlebars on it, but I'm not happy with them. They're still not right, but the bikes will ride. So I'm going to swap out the Renthal bars and put back on OEM bars. Mine are damaged, so I've just bought some new ones and I've already put the price of them on. Where did I write it? There. They're 107 quid for a new pair of bars. Well, I've spent 107 quid on 2 pairs of Renthals. One was too big. The other one I'm just not happy with. It doesn't look right. And it needs to look right and be right. I don't want to be riding out about on a 120 mile an hour machine with bits that are not right and not safe for it potentially. So it's got to be right and got to be done correctly. And every part that I've put on that bike is genuine Kawasaki parts. That's why some of it has taken like 2 months to get hold of, particularly this headlight ball. £124.93 to buy that. Fender, where's that? 152 quid for that bit. That took like 3 weeks to get here. It's on, it's done, the bike's right. It's as it was when it left the factory. I've still got a couple of little bits to do on there, but they'll come. I'll show you why, because I've spent a fortune on this and now it's Christmas time and New Year, so I've just got other things to spend my money on rather than buying things like fly screens and racks and stuff like that. That can wait, because I won't be travelling any great distance on it while the weather's like what it is. So that can wait until maybe March, springtime, fair up. Then I'll get pannier racks and some panniers for it and a luggage rack for the back so I can put a back box on it. I really have learnt not to crash my bike, and when you are buying things for your bike, just buy the right stuff first time. Don't think you save money, because you won't. You'll end up spending double. Do not get anything from Amazon. So the price that I've spent on this, it shocked me actually. I did have an idea on how expensive it would be, but I thought it might have been a little bit less than what I've spent. But there you go, I've had to spend the money to get the bike on the road. I didn't have fully comp insurance. They'd have written it off for labour costs, not parts costs. The parts I've spent then, this is your total. It's cost me £1,116.75. The only thing I've not replaced on the bike that I broke was the fly screen, and that was 90 quid. But I'll get that ordered soon enough. So yeah, a lot of money when you crash a bike. I got away with only spending that though. Could have cost me a lot more. I'm sure you know what I mean. My gear was cut off. I need some more waterproof trousers. They were only 20 quid. My jacket was cut off. It saved my life. Frank Thomas, there's a review of that on this channel. If you want to know what jacket that was, can't recommend it enough. Definitely buy one if you're thinking about buying one of them. Go back and have a look at that review so you can see what it is. The helmet I got, well, I had an HGC helmet. It hit the ground pretty hard, so I've got a new helmet. I'm going to tell you that on one of these videos coming up. So subscribe to the channel so you can see what helmet I've bought. Also, it's wet and icy outside, so I can't go out on the bike. But as soon as that road is dry, I'm on it. I'm going to wire up a camera onto the helmet, microphone inside, and my first ride since I've crashed my bike, you're going to come on it with me. I'll tell you how it feels, we'll see how we go, and I have to go out for a ride on the bike to make sure that it's okay and bring it back in and just tighten everything up again, so see what's vibrating loose. If anything, hopefully nothing. So that's it for the Kawasaki repairs. Thanks for watching this series. If you haven't seen them before, you don't know what I'm on about, go back and have a look. It's all a learning curve. If it hadn't have been for my mate helping with this bike, it'd still be sat here in bits. So thank you to him for helping me with this. And subscribe to the channel, got some good videos coming up, and I'll see you in the next one.